Rich Princess and Broke Princess. Once upon a starry night, the sleepy kingdom of Everdon was bathed in the moon's soft glow. A night when two lovely princesses were born in neighboring castles, with the moon saving her brightest beams for these little royal cousins. Everdon was a kingdom divided by a river and ruled by two brothers, King Edward and King Frederick. King Frederick's side of the kingdom was known as Everdon Shine, a place where the people were prosperous with overflowing wealth, and its richness rivaled the sun's radiance. In contrast, King Edward's side, known as Everdon Glow, was more humble. It did not possess much wealth or extravagance, but humility and kindness reigned throughout. King Edward's daughter was named Isabel, and she was described as kind and loving. She was brought up with values of empathy and compassion and would mingle with everyone in Glow. For instance, she would offer to carry things for others, prompting remarks about how kind their princess was. King Frederick's daughter Arabelle was brought up, surrounded by the world's finest things. She would receive whatever she desired and was only friends with the wealthiest of people. When presented with a gift, she might remark it was not sparkly enough and question why someone would even accept it, though the source clarifies she wasn't unkind. Over the years, the two princesses grew up quite differently. Isabel was loved by the people of Glow for her humility. They would ask her to tell a story even as she was busy helping someone like Madame Prine. With her stares, Arabelle, on the other hand, was entirely invested in the richness of clothes, jewelry, and all things materialistic. She concerned herself with whether a hat made her nose look big or whether a ruby necklace was too small, constantly seeking the perfect ensemble. The kingdom of Shine hardly knew her, but they did not mind, as they too were quite absorbed in their own richness. As the princesses were turning 16, soon the royal couples decided to celebrate their birthdays at both palaces. Isabelle expressed excitement at finally seeing the Grand Palace of Shine, while Arabelle wondered what kind of party the Glow Palace would host. They first celebrated the party at Arabelle's castle. Isabelle was immediately blown away by the glamour, exclaiming about the extravagance. Arabelle, dressed in dazzling attire, greeted Isabelle with a remark about her outfit, but Isabelle seemed more focused on the sheer spectacle. The party was nothing short of extravagance, with the royal couple having spared no expense for their beloved Arabelle. There was even an indoor water slide, a feature Arabelle casually mentioned, while Isabelle marveled at it. Isabelle shared that in Glow they had a marvelous indoor garden with 1,000 golden roses, 1,000 ruby roses, and 1,000 emerald roses, though she admitted they only had a few hundred wild roses. Isabelle wandered around in awe, noticing how everything sparkled, the food, the clothes, and even the people. She wondered what it would be like to live like this. Ending the palace and kingdom of Shine magnificent, the night concluded and it was Isabelle's turn to host the party at Glow Palace. When Arabelle entered, she was stunned by its simplicity. Isabelle warmly welcomed her, and as she showed her cousin around, Arabelle took in the humble sights. She noticed the decoration was neat and pretty, but questioned the absence of gems, sparkle and glitter. Even observing that the water looked plain, Isabelle explained they did not have many gems, just a few on her tiara. Along with her parents, Arabelle then commented on the food, noting that theirs in Shine was dusted with gold. Isabelle countered that theirs had oodles of love in it, to which Arabelle initially dismissed it as basic, but reluctantly took a bite. The taste astounded her, and she admitted she had never tasted anything so good, leading Isabelle to playfully respond, "Told you, the power of love." Arabelle then met some of Isabelle's friends, who seemed to be everyone in Glow. Isabelle received warm birthday wishes and She included Arabelle, who was taken aback by the immense warmth and love that filled the kingdom. She felt a strange ache in her heart, reflecting on how she had received all the world's splendor and yet had never felt so warm. She wondered what it would be like to live Isabel's life, even noting that the scents in Glow were mesmerizing. Unlike her own, Arabelle admitted she envied the way Isabel was loved by her people, feeling that her own people probably did not even know her. Isabel tried to comfort her, calling her the most dazzling person she had ever met and expressing a wish to live Arabelle's dazzling and bright life. For a while, Arabelle in turn wished she could live Isabel's life too. No sooner did they each make a wish than their souls swapped bodies immediately. Arabelle was now Isabel and Isabel was now Arabelle. Initially confused, their expressions settled into glee as they realized their wishes had come true and they could now live each other's lives. They wondered if they would get caught, but Isabel, now in Arabelle's body, dismissed the worry, though she found Arabelle's heels uncomfortable. She playfully told Arabelle to get used to the life and change her smug expression to a nice gentle smile. The night came to an end and Isabel in Arabelle's body returned to the kingdom of Shine, while Arabelle in Isabel's body stayed back in the kingdom of Glow. When Isabel reached Shine, she frolicked at parties and feasted on all the richness, admiring pretty dresses. As she went around, she noticed how developed the kingdom was, observing an indoor lift and remarking that it would help Madame Prine. She overheard a conversation about a family that had lost a ton of money and could now only afford certain things, prompting someone to call the person broke. Isabel immediately wanted to help but was told she would dirty her new dress. Despite the awful remarks, Isabel paid no heed and soon learned that although Shine was wealthy, the people's hearts were quite devoid of any sparkle. She realized they did not care about each other and only thought about money. Meanwhile, Arabelle in Isabel's body was not having an easy time. She learned that Isabel was involved in everything that concerned Glow. She lamented making the wish, worried about her poor beautiful manicured nails and feigned sickness. Upon seeing a worm, the people of Glow immediately showed concern, offering to accompany her all the way back. Despite the long walk, Arabelle was struck by this, realizing that none of her own friends had ever cared for her in this way. As she returned, she saw that the kingdom of Glow was not well todo, but everyone was helpful towards each other. Arabelle was also expected to study in preparation for her royal responsibilities, something she had neglected in Shine. She learned that Everdon Glow did not possess the means for travel or trade, whereas Everdon Shine's prosperity was due to its trade with the kingdom of Phyllite, the source of her emeralds. She also learned that the trade with Phyllite might stop due to their outrageous demands exceeding Phyllite's kindness. Realizing that the people of Shine were quite uncaring, Arabelle now realized how crucial a ruler was and felt terrible about having wasted her time. She observed the immense love in Glow and felt it needed to spread, and she saw ways for Glow to prosper. Both princesses desperately wished to return to their own bodies. The next morning, the girls woke up feeling amazing, back in their original bodies, expressing immense relief and joy at being themselves again. Immediately they began making changes to the kingdom. Isabel begged her father to borrow some of Shine's wealth to develop their land, explaining that while their people might be content, they must improve their lives. Arabelle, on the other hand, pestered her father to receive help from Glow's Minister of Trade, arguing that their own minister was quite useless and kind of mean. She explained that Glow's minister was kind and could help strengthen their ties with other lands. The king saw how passionate their daughters were and agreed to their plans. The plan was a success. Glow's Minister of Trade was kind and welcoming to all foreign kingdoms, and it was not Long before Everdon Shine started making more wealth, the extra wealth was then given to Everdon Glow, and with it the kingdom developed spectacularly. Isabel implemented policies that would further develop Glow, while Arabelle nurtured her friends, realizing she had a talent for it and feeling good about it. Arabelle also spent time changing her people in Shine, showing them what love is. Little by little the duo were quite pleased with themselves, feeling that this whole magical escapade turned out better than ever. Isabel, despite the initial discomfort with heels, learned a lot, and Arabelle, despite getting mud on her manicured fingers, found the experience valuable. Both agreed that while the dazzling life was amazing, they preferred their own lives. Now the girls had understood that true richness lies not in material wealth but in the wealth of the heart and the bonds they forge with others, believing that only then can they truly flourish. Analysis: the story of the rich princess and broke princess presents a compelling narrative about the true nature of wealth, leadership, and personal fulfillment, contrasting two kingdoms and their respective princesses. Initially, Everdon Shine, ruled by King Frederick, embodies material prosperity and extravagance, where people are absorbed in their richness. King Frederick's daughter Arabelle is a product of this environment, accustomed to receiving whatever she desires and surrounded by the finest things, associating only with the wealthiest. Her focus is entirely on materialistic possessions, as evidenced by her concern over clothing and jewelry. In stark contrast, Everdon Glow, ruled by King Edward, is humble and lacks wealth, but is abundant in humility and kindness. Isabel, King Edward's daughter, is raised with values of empathy and compassion, actively mingling with and serving her people, who deeply love her for her humble and caring nature. This initial portrayal establishes a clear dichotomy: one kingdom values material grandeur, the other cherishes human connection and intrinsic values. The birthday celebrations serve as pivotal moments that highlight these differences and plant seeds of desire in both princesses. Arabelle's party in Shine is a spectacle of luxury, featuring an indoor water slide and dazzling decor. Isabelle is initially awestruck by this display of opulence, wondering what it would be like to live such a magnificent life. This curiosity suggests an innocent yearning for experience beyond her simple reality. Conversely, Isabelle's party in Glow, though simple, radiates warmth and love. Arabelle, initially dismissive of its plainness, is profoundly moved by the taste of food made with oodles of love, and more significantly by the immense warmth and love she experiences from Isabelle's friends and the people of Glow. She recognizes a profound emotional void in her own life, admitting that despite all the splendor she has received, she has never felt so warm. This moment marks a turning point for Arabelle as she begins to question the value of our material wealth in the face of genuine affection. Both princesses, driven by their newfound curiosity and longing, articulate wishes to live each other's lives, setting the stage for their transformative experience. The body swap is the central mechanism for character development, forcing each princess to directly experience the realities of the other's life and kingdom. Isabelle, in Arabelle's body, discovers that despite Shine's immense wealth and development, its people are emotionally sterile, devoid of empathy, caring only about money and showing little concern for one another. Her attempts to help a broke friend are met with dismissive remarks, revealing the superficiality of relationships in Shine. This experience teaches Isabelle that material richness does not equate to a richness of spirit or communal well-being. Simultaneously, Arabelle, in Isabelle's body, grapples with the challenges of Glow's simplicity, from the discomfort of manual labor to the lack of modern conveniences. Crucially, she learns About Isabel's deep involvement in her community and her royal responsibilities which Arabelle had previously neglected. Arabelle gains an understanding of the kingdom's economic struggles, learning about its lack of trade and travel means and the critical importance of a ruler's active engagement and the impact of trade policies. She realizes that Shine's prosperity, while significant, is dependent on external relationships that are strained by the uncaring nature of its people. The genuine care and helpfulness displayed by Glow's humble inhabitants deeply affect Arabelle, making her realize the stark contrast with her own friends in Shine. This period of living in the other's shoes provides both princesses with invaluable first-hand insights into the limitations of their own perspectives and the strengths of the others. The resolution of the body swap leads to significant positive changes in both princesses and their kingdoms, demonstrating that true leadership involves a blend of practical development and compassionate governance. Upon returning to their original bodies, both Isabel and Arabelle are energized by their newfound understanding. Isabel, having witnessed Shine's developed infrastructure, advocates for borrowing wealth from Shine to develop Glow, recognizing that her people, though content, could benefit from improved living conditions. This shows her commitment to tangible progress for her kingdom. Arabelle, having experienced Glow's kind and effective minister of trade, persuades her father to seek help from him to strengthen Shine's ties with other lands, directly addressing the uncaring nature that threatened their trade. This reveals her newfound understanding of the importance of kindness and diplomacy in economic relations. The success of their combined efforts results in increased wealth for Shine, which is then shared with Glow, leading to spectacular development for both. Isabel focuses on policy implementation for Glow's development, while Arabelle dedicates herself to nurturing her friends and fostering love among her people in Shine, actively working to change their materialistic mindset. This dual approach signifies a holistic understanding of prosperity, financial well-being combined with emotional and social enrichment. The story concludes with both princesses realizing that true richness is not found in material wealth, but in the wealth of the heart and the bonds we forge with others, asserting that only through these connections can one truly flourish. The narrative effectively conveys that empathy, responsible leadership, and valuing human connection over material possessions are the foundations of genuine prosperity and happiness.